Gotta get everything set back up. Man, give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Damn, bro. Dry. Dry. All right, y'all. Very dry, man. All right, back live. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get it, man. My bad, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was dropping too much sauce, man. The market makers ain't want them. They're trying to prevent me from giving y'all the sauce, bro. So that's what happens. But God is good. We're gonna prevail. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it. So once again, I was talking about we're already anticipating this order block. We have about three key levels here: 1 hour order block, 15-minute order block, 15-minute for value gap. We also have internal range liquidity we're taking. We have also come below the 50%. Okay, low to high. So hold on, let's go ahead and draw this out. Oops. Confluences. Okay. All right. 1 hour order block, 15-minute order block, 15-minute fair value gap. Okay. What else do we have, guys? Internal range liquidity. What else do we have, guys? We are below the 50%. Okay. So in this case, we're in discount. So we basically hit optimal trade entry. Okay. OTE. Okay. And then obviously time is very important. Okay. Time is important. New York session. Okay. And also, what else, guys? I said the best buys are usually below the weekly open. I'm not going to add that to advance, but just remember we are below the weekly open. Okay. So we are in discount. Okay. And price is still bullish. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go down to the 5 minute time frame. Okay. That's so beautiful. So right there, so we've been a buy, and then right here we do have a small fair value gap. So that right there personally would have been my entry. Okay. So nice 5 minute fair value gap right there. That right there would have been the entry. Okay. But now let's go ahead and go down to the 1 minute. Okay. And let me just walk you through the price action on the 1 minute. Okay. So it's very important. So this key level right here, look at how we're hitting this order block and we're in this 15-minute fair value gap. So once price comes in here and you're already anticipating all these things, you want to be locked in. This for about like 30 minutes, you want to be locked in. Okay. So now what happens here? So the first thing I like to do is as price is in a downtrend, the way I know that price is starting to flip is by, once fair value gaps start getting disrespected. Okay. So we have a nice 1 minute fair value gap right there. Nice. Boom. Look at how it gets respected right there. Drops lower. We also have this 1 minute fair value gap right here. Okay. Now, this 1 minute fair value gap right here doesn't necessarily support price, but it's still getting inversed. Okay, so this right here could have let you know that something is up, maybe it's starting to turn around. Okay, and I also say that because these last two downward close candles, okay, once we really close above that, okay, that right there is basically a market structure shift or a change in state of delivery. Okay, that is when a series of consecutive downward closed candles, once they get closed above, that is a change in state of delivery. Okay, now not only do we have a change in state of delivery, we this 1 minute fair value gap that push price down, it finally gets inversed right there. Okay, so this right there, boom, right there could have been the entry. You can put your stop loss all the way down here if you want to be safe. Okay, but in this case, me personally, I'm going to put my stop loss right beneath this candle low, this 1 minute for a value gap. Okay, now we're getting in on here, and mind you, this is a 1 hour order block. Okay, so since this is a 1 hour setup, okay, even though we're getting an entry on the 1 minute, since this is a 1 hour setup, so you could have entered right there. So this could have been an entry on the 1 minute, but on the 5 minute, this really could have been an entry. Okay, if you want to be safe, if you like confirmation, once this bullish engulfing gets printed, you can now take an entry if you want to be safe with your stop loss, maybe like down here. Okay, or beneath this low. Okay, but right here, this is a 1 hour setup. We know we have highs over here. Now, why is this a good? Why is this area a good exit point? It's a good exit point because look at how this high respects this high. Okay. So when that happens, this is a buildup of liquidity because supply and demand traders, people who trade supply, they're looking at this right here as resistance. So once price comes in here, once they see that rejection, they're selling. They're putting their stop loss above here. They're putting their stop loss above here. So we know we have liquidity right above here. Okay. That's our vaults. Okay. Let's go ahead and play it out on the 15 minute. Beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So now, once again, let's quickly review this trade. This trade happened on a Monday. Okay. So I just walked you guys through. I drew out the weekly open. I walked you guys through previous price action so we could get our bias, our narrative, bullish, bullish. Okay. From this low to this high, this was our range that we're working in. Okay. Nice liquidity. Price opens up, takes out liquidity, hits our key levels. This is like three confluences. Look at this confluences right here. This right there was a 5-1, okay, on a Monday. Okay. So this trade is for this trade. Let's just leave that right there. Okay. All right. So from here, let's go ahead and continue playing this through. I'm gonna leave this on the lower time frame. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this fib. So now let's go ahead and play this through. So now those buys happened. This liquidity point is getting taken. So now at this point, me personally, I'm not doing anything. Okay. All I'm doing is still tracking institutional order flow. We're still bullish. Okay. This is still bullish. So right here, I know I have a 1 hour fair value gap. Okay. 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 Now, before I go there, let's quickly review this 1 hour fair value gap price action. Okay. So this happened on London session. Okay, London Asian session. I personally don't trade London Asian session, but in case you are someone that trades London session, the way you could have caught these buys, obviously, you know you have a 1 hour fair value gap right here. Okay, and we see Asian session price pushes that up. Okay, however, price doesn't really have a strong enough volume to keep going up. That's why Asian session usually is a session that price accumulates. Okay, so all Asian session did was create a low and create a high. Okay, he created a low, created a high. It ranged. We now came into close to London session. Price takes out liquidity, prints a nice swing low, and starts pushing up. Now check this out. Now we have a structure shift. This is the high that pushes price down to take out the low. Okay, flashbang. So this right here is an order block. This is the 15-minute order block. Okay, this is the high that push price down to take the low. So this is also an order block. It's also a breaker. Okay, if you got straight ICT, and then most importantly, we know we have a nice fair value gap, guys. Okay. Okay. So this setup is very similar to this setup. Okay. We don't have a 1 hour order block, but what do we have? A 1 hour fair value gap. We have a 15-minute order block. This technically right here, it doesn't hit it, but we know we have a 15-minute fair value gap, a 1 hour fair value gap. And then with this entry specifically, we have a 15-minute order block and a 15-minute fair value gap, and it's London session. So we have about the same amount of confluences, okay? And most importantly, because I have OTE down there, low to high, below 50%, key level, buys right there, okay? So that right there would have been the trade for London session, okay? And then, you would have TP'd. But now let's see what happens, because this is US 30. This is all-time highs. Okay. This is all-time highs. So once again, personally, I don't trade London session. So all this price action, I would have missed out. But you see now when we come into New York session, this is now New York session, 8 a.m., 8:30. Look at how price quickly reverses. So if you were in these trades and you didn't TP, and you're probably expecting it to go higher, that's where you can get messed up, because once again, you have to realize that we are at all-time highs. Okay. And I believe we had SMT, NASDAQ, and S&P were not making higher highs and all-time highs. Only US 30 was. So trading all-time highs, you always have to be very on your toes. So price quickly reverses. Now, what's significant is about this is, once again, hold on. Where's our last significant low? Let's go ahead and mark that out. We have a low right there. Let's go to the hour really quickly. Let's mark out our significant lows. We have this significant low. And I'll also say that this right here is also a significant low, because this low, this low takes out liquidity and makes a higher high. If we are truly bullish, this low should not get taken out, and it gets taken out right there. Okay. So now, in my opinion, this is a market structure shift. Okay. Now let's just go ahead and analyze price and let's see what happens. Okay. So now we see how price is now closing like this. Okay. So now we know we have a market structure shift. So this area over here is going to be our key level that we are now watching to take sells, because now I'm bearish. This low that made a higher high got taken out and closed beneath. This 1 hour fair value gap that pushed price up got violated. That is a structure shift. So now at this point, I'm looking from high to low. Okay. Let me quickly check the 4 hour. Hold on, let me make sure I'm looking at this right. Yeah, so let's see what happened. So at this point, I'm really watching this area to see what happens. Okay. But at this point, with this major sell-off, this is still a significant low. So in this case, for this daily range, all we've done is come to optimal trade entry. Okay. So this area over here possibly offer some buys. Okay. Because With price dropping aggressively like this, you have to think price isn't just gonna just keep selling, unless like there was a bomb or a major disease, COVID, But basic market structure, price just made it high, price dropped. Okay, price is now making a low, and so there's a high probability that a retracement is going to happen. Okay. Okay. We don't get that retracement. Okay. Price automatically sells off. Okay. Let's go to the 15 minute to see if there's anything missed. Hold on. Was there another 1 hour for value gap? Okay, I see. We also, guys, look at this. This is on the 4 hour. I haven't been showing the 4 hour. This 4 hour fair value gap also got inversed. Okay. So that is also another indication that price is now bearish. Okay. But right here, look at this fair value gap right here. This fair value gap is a nice resistance area. Why do I say that? Look at all the. Let me go down to the hour now. Look at all the rejection, all the price action that's taken here. So that even now makes sense why price necessarily didn't need to come all the way back here. We had this nice 4 hour fair value gap that's resistance that was messing up price over here. And look at how this weekly open is also within this 4 hour fair value gap. Okay. Look how this 4 hour fair value gap right there. Okay. So this right here is a strong key level. So that's why price didn't necessarily need to come all the way up here. Okay. This area over here was enough to support price down. Okay. So in this case, in this day, unless you notice this, then you would take more sells. Okay. But over here, once again, we were already bearish. So we wouldn't have even been looking to take these buys because we know that we have a market structure shift. So at this point, we're only looking for sells. Okay. And then in real time price action, if you're seeing all of this on the hour and you have all these key levels, the only thing to do with it would be to take sells. Okay. And those sells delivered aggressively. Okay. So now look at this, guys. With price dropping all the way like this, look at how I had when this live stream started, I drew out these equal lows, and I said this could be an area that price could come take out in the future. Okay. Now, mind you, this is also why I drew out these important lows. Okay, look at how they're getting violated, broken through. Okay, so at this point, the sentiment is shifting bearish. Okay, and we know our draw liquidity are these lows. So this area over here could have honestly offered a massive risk to reward. Okay, it's actually a crazy move. That's almost a 13-1. That's actually a significant move. But now my eyes are on these lows over here. Okay. God, that's getting taken out. Okay, so let's stop right here. Okay, so now with these cells being delivered and us now taking out major equal lows, I believe this is a yeah. So guys, check this out. These right here are daily lows. Okay, so this is a significant key level. This is an area point that price can potentially reverse from. Okay, these are daily lows. Okay, and look at how that lines up perfectly with these lows. Okay, so we have a key level right here, and we now see boom. Okay, it getting stabbed out. Look at how this next hour candle is automatically closing bullish engulfing already. Okay, if I go down to the lower time frame, okay, so now if I go down to a lower time frame, how you know I'm just gonna pause really quickly. I want you to think if you can kind of try and predict what you think is gonna happen. Okay, we have just taken out lows. Okay, think about market structure. Okay, price has went down, price came up, price now goes out to take out a low. Okay. So now at this point, okay, just let's talk this through before we continue playing the charts. We have a high, lower low, lower high, lower low. For a price to turn bullish, okay, price is obviously is going to go up and make some type of high. Okay, price is going to do that. Now, to see if we're truly bullish or if we're bearish, if truly bearish, we're going to anticipate a lower low, right? Okay. But mind you, we necessarily can't be that bearish anymore because we just had a massive drop. We had a massive drop, okay? And we've just taken out equal lows on the daily chart. So now at this point, what I'm going to be anticipating is for price not to make a lower low, but to now make a higher low. And once price makes that higher low, okay, this is now an indication that price now wants to go into a bullish uptrend. Okay. So now let me go back to the hour chart and I want to draw something. This 1 hour fair value gap right here. Okay. Look at how we are now closing above it. Okay. So guys, over here, this 1 hour fair value gap, look at how once we close beneath this or once we inverse this, look at how prices started getting really bearish. So over here, once we are now closing above this, is price going to get instantly bearish, bullish as well? Okay. All right, so look at that. We've now closed above that 1 hour fair value gap. Now, what I'm doing, okay, is now from low to high. Okay. So all this I'm doing right now is a lot of anticipation. Okay. Because of the story that I've already painted. Okay. So high to low. Okay. So somewhere in this area, I want to be looking for buys. Okay. Or not looking for buys, but anticipating that a higher low. And I know I'd have a nice 15-minute fair value gap in here. Okay. So let's see what happens. So, risk rewarders. What was the time? This is going into agent session. So let's just play through and let's see what happens. Okay, nice. Good reaction. Okay. So this is agent session. Okay. So let's just leave agent session alone. Okay. But keep in mind that this pattern. Okay. We're already kind of seeing it. Okay. We just had this high. And now what are we doing? We're making that higher low. Okay. Okay. This is going to be London session. Oh, this is so beautiful. All right, guys, check this out now. Okay, check this out now. What I'm about to show you guys, this is a trade that I actually took. Okay, and this is one of my bags. Okay, it's one of my sauces. Well, right here, what I'm showing you guys, okay, is one of the sauces. Okay, so now, mind you, we've already had this big drop. Okay, mind you, we've taken out daily lows. Okay, so at this point, how much can price really sell? Okay, we are already anticipating some type of bullishness or some type of retracements. Why? Why is that? Why is that? Guys, from high, this high is the high that pushed price to do this massive drop. Okay. So now from this high to this low, where am I now anticipating price to come, guys? 50%. Okay. Even though I know that we are now bearish on like the bigger time frame, the 4 hour, regardless, market structure is market structure. Okay. We are bearish. Okay. We have now taken out lows. That is the reason why we can now start looking for buys because we know from high to low, price has to come back to that 50%. Now we are already seeing this 1 hour fair value gap. gets violated and it's now being used as support to go higher. Okay. So this is the story. You always want to form this narrative. You always want to form the story, okay, but behind the trade. So now on the 15-minute, okay. So now on the 15-minute, this high, I know that this high now has liquidity. Okay. This is the high that I'm going to be targeting. Here's my vault. Okay. Why do I say that? Look at how this high respects this high. So what do you think people are doing here? They're selling. They're seeing this. They're like, oh, sells, 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 sells. Liquidity. That's what I see. I see liquidity. I don't see sales. I see liquidity. Okay. So now with this right here, I know we have liquidity up there. Now, what do we always need, guys? We always need some type of, rate on liquidity. So let's draw this low out. Okay. Let's draw this low out. Okay. And now we're coming into New York session. So now we now have our framework. Okay. We are now anticipating buys. We're anticipating buys. Okay. We've taken out a major low. We're anticipating buys. We have liquidity here. We have liquidity there. Okay. So it's either price is going to come take out this liquidity. If price is respecting this area, then I will now look for buys to the upside. Okay. Oh, wow. Price taking out liquidity. What time is it? 6:15 a.m. Cool. Okay, beautiful. So right there. So at this time, so this is around 6:30. Okay, I'm not necessarily up at this time. Okay, but this right here, if you was up, that right there would have been buys. Okay, you're already anticipating this. You can enter right here. You can put your stop loss beneath this low over here. Okay. So once price closes bullish, cool. You can take an entry for beginners. Take an entry, stop loss down there, and this is going to be your TP1, and this is going to be your TP2 because